Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, the Black Hills celebrates Veterans Day with a parade down Rapid City's Main Street. Plus, local organizations plan a free community resource fair at the Minaloosahan Senior Center this weekend. We'll have the details. And medical marijuana sellers take issue with Rapid City potentially cutting the number of licenses. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. The Rapid City Council is considering cutting the number of medical marijuana sales licenses in half. KOTA Territory's Brad Walton spoke with a city alderman and a dispensary owner to get their perspectives on the issues.
The future of medical marijuana in Rapid City is uncertain.
The main mission is to honor the voters. They want medical marijuana. They voted for that. And so we need to make sure that that is adequately represented with the current businesses that sell the product.
Rapid City's Legal and Finance Committee will consider a municipal code amendment capping the number of active medical marijuana sales licenses at 5. Currently, 10 licenses are active.
Patients aren't asking for this. This is politicians that are asking for the number of licenses in Rapid City to be reduced. I haven't heard of any patient come up and say, you know, we want less options.
Dispensaries like Puffy's won't be forced to close down, but new ones won't be able to open up. If dispensaries do close their doors, new ones wouldn't be allowed to take their place. Tamang says it comes down to costs.
What we want to do is not get to the point where we're taxing something. Like, we're not allowed to issue a tax on marijuana. So at some point, it gets too high. So we just want it to be reasonable. I think $3,000 is like one of the prices they have right now. It should be many times above that.
Jeffries says the council should consider unintended consequences of demand exceeding supply.
It's concerning if patients have to turn to alternative sources like the black market, where marijuana could have pesticides or heavy metals or other contaminants that would impact a patient's health.
Rapid City's Legal and Finance Committee will address the amendment at Wednesday's meeting. In Rapid City, Brad Walton, KOTA Territory News.
It was nice to get a full day of sunshine back in KOTA Territory. Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is here to let us know if it is here to stick around. Beautiful day out there for mid-November.
Yeah, mid-November, not bad. We're noticing temperatures in the 60s for much of KOTA Territory, and I think many of us will take that for this time of year compared to what could be happening instead. Our temperatures made it up to 65 in Rapid City, 59 for Custer, 57 in both Hewlett and Newcastle, 58 in Buffalo. Overall, a very, very mild day. Now, temperatures currently are falling into the 40s for many spots. We do still have a few areas hanging under the 50s at the moment, but we'll all be falling into the 40s this evening. A breezy day for western South Dakota. Those winds are starting to weaken this evening. Now, for tonight, aurora chances looking pretty likely. We had a CME impact, so that means we're likely going to be seeing the northern lights. And good news is skies are going to be mostly clear. Bundle up. Temperatures will be in the 40s this evening, falling into the 30s after midnight. It'll be a nice day tomorrow, high near 60 yet again. We'll talk more into detail about a warmer end of the week and more details on that aurora coming up.
Thank you, David. How can our community come together to address the pressing issue of homelessness? In Rapid City, a first step will be taken this Saturday at a free community resource fair at the Minaloosahan Senior Center. Organizations will include Love Inc., the Salvation Army, Meals on Wheels, and many others dedicated to helping those in need. The effort comes just before winter and after past challenges in securing homeless resources. But it's more than just an assembly. There's a plan emerging involving a rotated church-based warming center model.
A church will take a week or 2 weeks and say, we're going to open up our doors as basically a warming center. And it moves then from church to church around town. We have a number of churches that are on board. We had a really mild winter last year, and there were 2 people frozen to death next to the creek behind the Salvation Army. If we have a bad winter this year, it's going to be really tough.
For more information on Saturday's event, go to our website. The Meade School Board is pushing ahead with controversial plans that will have 5th graders moving from Whitewood Elementary to Sturgis Williams Middle School. It voted to approve the change last night, with Board President Justin Judding saying this will help ensure schools are making the most of their resources and that all grade levels are set up similarly across the district. But many parents and community members spoke up, asking the board to keep 5th graders at Whitewood and also keep other schools like Etoll and Hereford open.
I don't love the idea of Whitewood Elementary losing 5th grade. Whitewood has been a great place for me to learn, but if you decide that moving 5th grade is truly the best way to protect learning for the whole district, I just want to know that the trade is really for more learning, not less.
Our schools operate on the bare bone minimum and appreciate doing so we're not the burden on the district, and so we can keep our schools open. If you put some of our kids on those buses to bus them to Union Center, it could potentially be the amount of miles it would take for your kids to get from Sturgis to Gillette, Wyoming.
Another big part of the discussion was about class sizes. Superintendent Wayne Wormstad said increasing sizes could help save money. After much debate, the resolution to move 5th graders passed by a narrow vote of 5-4. That change is set for the 2026-27 school year with a key deadline in April of 2026. State Representative Liz May is welcoming the Trump administration's investigation into large meat packing companies for potential price manipulation. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley spoke with May on her property today, and he has the story.
President Trump has directed the Department of Justice to investigate the country's largest meatpacking companies for possible collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. The White House pointing out that the big four meatpackers, JBS, Cargill, Tyson Foods, and National Beef, currently dominate 85% of the U.S. beef processing market, up from just 36% in 1980. The White House alleges mounting evidence that the companies have slashed payments to ranchers, reduced herd sizes, and have driven up consumer prices. State Representative Liz May, a lifelong rancher, says producers have been raising concerns over large meatpacking companies for decades.
We've never had an administration that would even look at us or listen to us or listen to the concerns of the producers. It was always about the packers.
May expressed in our interview that she feels meatpacking companies control too much of the beef industry, and something about what they're doing just doesn't seem right.
We have this investigation. We're all hoping something comes of it. We're optimistic, cautiously optimistic, thinking that, hopefully they'll be able to find some things in there that we can do a little different.
It sounds like from what I'm hearing from you is that you don't have a specific allegation, but it's more so that with all this influence, they have a lot of power over these prices, and something's not passing the smell test. Is that a safe way to put your thoughts on this?
Yes, absolutely.
May says she hopes the Trump administration will also address restoring regional meatpacking companies. In Rapid City, Blake Trolley, KOTA Territory News.
The Black Hills has a strong military presence, and it showed with the turnout for Veterans Day events across Rapid City. Main Street was lined with people of all ages for today's Veterans Day parade. Despite being a weekday and Rapid City schools still in session, the turnout was strong with representation from every military branch. Attendees shared sentiments of gratitude, reminding everyone that freedom isn't free. For many, the day highlighted the outpouring of community support, a reminder for over the 60,000 veterans who call South Dakota home.
It's good that we are here today to remember that freedom isn't free, that there are brave men and women who fought for our great country, and today we get to celebrate that.
After the parade, veterans and their families gathered for a pork chop feed at VFW Post 1273. You can continue to support veterans by donating to the Boots on the Ground event this Sunday. For more information on that event, visit KOTATV.com. It sounds like the aurora borealis could be returning to the Black Hills. We'll tell you when in your accurate First Alert forecast coming up later. But first, a local Mexican restaurant looks to help those experiencing food insecurity. That story's next. With thousands of South Dakotans still on edge over whether they'll be able to feed their families, one Mexican restaurant in Rapid City has entered the food assistance game. Brian Savage spoke to the manager of Mexico Topeka to learn more about their efforts in ensuring no one in the community goes unfed.
Located in the heart of Hisega Road is a restaurant deeply rooted in Mexican culture and ready to serve up Chihuahuan flavor. Mexico Topeka has made South Dakota home for the last 6 years and treats everyone like they're part of the family. Now, with the ongoing government shutdown and people reeling over their SNAP benefits, the manager of the eatery, Rosa Oros, didn't give it a second thought in helping those needing food.
In our culture, we have if one person eats, everybody can eat. So even if it's rice and beans, you always have something to eat.
Thanks to loving support from the community over the years, the restaurant was looking for a way to give back. Since last week, the staff has been serving free hot meals to those in dire need, including enchiladas, burritos, tacos, and chicken nuggets.
They all come with rice and beans, and you just have to call in and let us know your order, and then you can just come and pick it up.
This selfless act can be traced back to Ordos' upbringing.
Growing up in Mexico, there's a lot of stuff that you grow up with and you see, so you don't want, just thinking of like even a kid going hungry, you don't want nothing like that.
Ordos says they have made over 30 free meals thus far.
To go along with their efforts in providing free meals to the community, Ordos and her staff have had talks about creating a food pantry in the lobby area.
We are trying to figure out how to do it. If people come and get food and they need a little bit extra, they can just get from there.
When the pantry goes up, people will be able to pick out non-perishable items, including canned goods and cereal. If the SNAP benefit situation continues in limbo, Mexico Topeka plans on providing Thanksgiving dinner baskets for anyone in need. In Rapid City, Brian Savage, KOTA Territory News.
Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking the potential for the northern lights. The details are in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
Temperatures are falling into the 40s after a mild day that we had. Many of us in the 60s for an afternoon high temperature, still feeling pretty mild. And if you're going to be getting out to go see the northern lights, just bundle up. Those 40s are nice, but they'll be chilly when you're just kind of standing there and not really moving around too much. We're going to be noticing some 30s into the Black Hills pretty soon with Nemo at 40 right now. First Alert Doppler radar is mainly clear right now. That's great news for those who may want to go out and look towards the northern lights. 37 is our low, but that's after midnight, closer towards sunrise tomorrow morning. So 40s before midnight, 30s after. Let's take a look at that oval. We had a very strong CME impact, the coronal mass ejection, which is the solar flare that comes from the sun, impacting the Earth's magnetic field, and that's going to continue to bring us some great northern lights overhead, likely tonight and possibly even into tomorrow night, something we will need to watch very closely. So our northern lights, we're already seeing those KP values getting close to 5. By the time we get to 8 and after, we may be looking at 7 or a little bit higher, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. around a 6, and after that it'll be down just around 5 or below, but those numbers always fluctuate throughout the evening, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as we go forward. But overall, you should be able to get out and see the northern lights at some point overnight tonight. Already seeing reports on X, formerly known as Twitter, that the northern lights are visible right now in North Dakota, up into places of Maine, but those reports are going to keep trickling in, so it should be good for us tonight. Twilight, that'll end around 6:09 p.m. this evening, so any source of light still from that sun will be gone by then, a little bit after 2. So go north of all the city lights. Do not park or sit or stand in the middle of the road, as it's very dangerous for drivers and yourself. You'll want to use a tripod with your phone or a camera. That'll keep it very stable so it's not a blurry picture when you take a longer exposure to get the northern lights. Pictures will be more vivid than what your eye can see itself. If you get any cool photos, feel free to hop on dakotatv.com and send them to us by clicking on the Submit Photos link. Great viewing overnight tonight. Mostly clear skies, not too much in the form of clouds. Temperatures will be in the 40s until about midnight, and as you'll notice, it's going to be great for that viewing overnight tonight. Tomorrow's going to be nice too, 60 degrees for a high temperature, and then those temperatures will be cooling off for us as we go towards next week, but we're staying pretty warm for the rest of the week. So this is Wednesday. We are going to be noticing clouds Wednesday evening, so if there is the chance of aurora again tomorrow evening, there will be a lot more cloud cover tomorrow evening compared to what we have for right now. And if we're going out to the bagel in the street Friday morning, take a look at these temperatures. Yeah, we may be in the 40s after midnight, but southwesterly winds should propel those temperatures into the 50s for us, and eventually the 60s by 9. A lot of sunshine. It's going to feel nice. One of the warmer bagels in the streets in the recent memory. Our temperatures overnight tonight will be down into the 30s for much of KOTA territory. Aurora looking pretty likely given the CME impact for tomorrow. Staying warm, a few clouds early, a little bit more sunshine into the afternoon. High temperatures will range from the 50s to the 60s. It'll get warmer going towards the end of the week. Northeast Wyoming, we're looking at upper 60s likely for many spots from Gillette to Sheridan, mid 60s towards Sundance and Newcastle. And then for the Black Hills region, highs will be near 70 on Friday for Spearfish. Thursday for Hot Springs, 74 by Friday in the Southern Hills. 60s likely for both Deadwood and the Custer area. It will be breezy on Friday. Those temperatures stay in the 70s on the South Dakota Plains for Friday. And for Rapid City, 74. We'll be in the 50s over the weekend, cooling off early next week with a chance of some moisture. Showers possible both Monday and Tuesday.
Thank you, David. Well, coming up, the Wall football team looks to cap off its undefeated season with a state championship. Plus, we check in with the St. Thomas More football team as the Cavaliers prepare to take on Elk Point Jefferson for the state title. Vic Quick has all the details next in KOTA Sports.
And now, KOTA Territory Sports, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Happy dinner time, everybody. The KOTA volleyball team racked up a 27-7 record this season, en route to earning a spot in the SODAC 16. The 8-seeded Cougars are taking on 9-seeded Gayville-Vollen this evening for a spot in the state tournament. And KOTA has gotten out to a nice start, winning the first two sets, 25-23 and 25-22. In Class A, Rapid City Christian is taking on Groton. These teams split the first two sets. I'll have more SODAC 16 volleyball scores for you coming up tonight at 9 and 10. The Rush made a trade today, acquiring forward Darian Pilline and defenseman Bobby Russell from Toledo for future considerations. Pilline is in his third ECHL season, playing a total of 95 games. Russell has 2 assists in 4 games this season. Rapid City returns to the ice tomorrow night when it plays the first of 3 games in Indianapolis. The St. Thomas More football team knocked off Clark Willow Lake 50-14 last week to earn a spot in the 11B state championship game. The 11-0 Cavaliers will face 11-0 Elk Point Jefferson for the title Friday afternoon in the Dakota Dome. Now, this is the 7th time in school history and first time since 2014 STM has made a trip to the Dome, and the Cavs are looking to bring home the first state title in program history. But it won't be easy, as Elk Point Jefferson is a perennial power that brings a strong running game.
They have a lot of moving parts. They're really big up front. They're physical. They got good backs. They're coached insanely well. They play assignment football. They execute what they have to do, and just a very solid football program all around. There's a reason, I think, in the last 4 years they've been to the Dome 3 times, and why they're undefeated and going to the Dome again. This is their goal. I was with them when they were 7th graders, and that's all I talked about. Was we want to go to the Dome when by the time we're seniors, we want to be able to make that trip there. And just seeing all their hard work and dedication come to fruition, and this becoming a reality is just a blessing to watch. So very excited for this group and for this community.
The Wall football team rolled past Phillip 56-6 last week to earn a spot in the 9A state championship game. The Eagles are now a perfect 11-0 on the season. They will face Howard for the 9A state championship Friday morning at the Dakota Dome. Wall will look to win its 2nd state title in the last 4 years. The 7-seeded Tigers have pulled off a couple of upsets to earn their spot in the championship game. Now, Howard defeated Alcester Hudson 18-12 in the semis and is 9-2 on the season. Kickoff is at 9 o'clock our time Friday morning at the Dakota Dome. College volleyball, Black Hill State taking on South Dakota Mines tonight. I'll have highlights of that for you coming up at 9 and 10, and all the SODAC 16 volleyball scores. That's a look at sports.
We're just 3 days away from the KOTA Care and Share Food Drive, Bagel in the Street, Friday, November 14th from 6:30 to 9 a.m. And your donation will have twice the impact this year. A generous donor will match every dollar donated. And for every dollar that's received, 6 pounds of food can be purchased. Here's the map. Stay in the right lane on St. Joseph Street. Turn right onto 4th Street into the parking lot of Trinity Lutheran Church. For your donation, you get a huge white chocolate chip bagel, baked fresh from Black Hills Bagels, and a freshly brewed gourmet coffee from Dark Canyon Coffee or a Pepsi product. All proceeds will help feed those who are struggling in our community, so please join us for the KOTA Territory Care and Share Food Drive, Bagel in the Street, on November 14th, this Friday. Still going to be a nice day?
Yeah, a nice day for Friday. The morning hours will be right around 50 degrees for us, Jack. So that's going to be spectacular. Almost shorts and a t-shirt weather for us. As we head out the door in the morning hours, we will be in the 30s for the next 7 days. We're going to be warm on the first half, cooling off towards the end. 60s likely through the end of the week until Friday, where we hit the 70s. It will be breezy Friday and Saturday. Cooler this weekend, but still above average in the upper 50s. And then next week, we'll notice those temperatures dropping.
And if you're watching the Northern Lights, don't do it from the middle of the road.
Yes, and they're out. Got picture confirmation.
Excellent advice. See you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.